How much time do you spend thinking or focused on things that you have no control over, that you can do nothing about? Let's say you're watching the news, or you're worried about the markets, or you're thinking about the economy, or you're worried about wars and tyranny around the world, or you think about the environment, or you're thinking about what other people are doing or not doing, or the choices that they're making, or maybe you're thinking about the government. I don't know. There's all kinds of things that we can spend our time thinking about, which we can do absolutely nothing about. There's always going to be that component to the world. The point is, how does it make you feel? When you think about these kinds of things, does it make you feel good? Or does it make you feel helpless or potentially hopeless? Or does it make you anxious? Or sometimes it probably makes you angry. It's a litany of emotions, but none of them are positive. When you think about things that you can do nothing about, it does not lend itself positively to your state of mind. Otherwise, why would you even be there, right? So it's a habit. It can be a habit, and it can be a conditioned habit, especially in a world when we're so switched on and we have so much opportunity to, at any moment, be pouring ourselves into different things and perseverating on things that have nothing really to do with our day-to-day life. Do they impact us? In ways, of course. Of course we're affected by everything that I mentioned, depending on the nature of it and the extreme of it and where we happen to live and what we happen to do. But I want to offer you a perspective and some things to think about that there's a much deeper lesson if I was doing a true training on this, but I'm going to give you some thoughts on this that may be helpful, because I want to give you maybe some tools to break the habit of where you focus your attention, because it's having a massive impact in your life. Where you focus your attention impacts your life. Now that seems like a relatively obvious point, right? If you're focusing your attention on a bottle of tequila every day, that's going to be a problem, right? But in a bigger sense, when you focus your attention on these significant things around you, or seemingly around you, that impact you emotionally, it comes out in every other portion of your life. It affects how you show up in everything. It affects how you show up in your job. It affects how you show up in your side pursuit. It affects how you show up in church. It affects how you show up for your family, or for the people you love, or in the community, or for your friends. It just affects you. It affects your attitude. It affects your outlook. And again, anything that disempowers you affects your confidence and even your thought life about what you should actually do. It makes decision making difficult. So, and I don't spend any more time there because I go there forever, but that's focusing on the negative side, and that's not what I want to do. So think about it like this. There's essentially two pools here. There's a pool of the things that you cannot control, and then there's the pool of things that you can do something in the realm of it. Maybe you can't 100% affect an outcome, but you can affect something. You have some measure of influence based on what you choose to do. So one area, focusing on the area of no control, is a reactive perspective. That is where you're just sort of watching it play out, and then you're just reacting however you're reacting, letting it affect your emotions, which, by the way, everything channels through your emotions before it gets to your logical brain. But in many cases, when you're so steeped in something that's affecting you emotionally, you never get to your logical brain, or when you get there, it's all jumbled up and stuff. So you've got that pot, right? That's the reactive pot. The proactive pot is what you can control. And so what we have to do is recognize that when you look at the word reaction, or you look at the word proaction, what's the central word there? It's action. It's just the choice of which way you're going to be. And so, I'll give you an example. I can't control, right? I spend a lot of time on the river. I can't control if people litter. I think it's like egregious. I think it's horrible to litter. I think it's disrespectful to the world and other people and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to go down the drain because I don't focus on that. I don't even look for who's littering. What I do is, as I'm going, I pick up litter. I don't go, there's rotten people. I just pick it up. Why? Because it's one little thing I can do proactively, and I just move on. And you can look at your entire life sort of like that in a very simple thing. So here's a perspective on this. The more you are focused in reaction, the smaller you stay. That is just the reality, because it paralyzes you, it limits you, it keeps you from taking action. It becomes like a victim mentality. What's the point? What can I do? Blah, blah, blah. And so that victim perspective leads to scarcity and fear and regret and contraction in what you actually have in relation to what there actually is. Whereas the proactive perspective leads to the victor mentality. That doesn't mean you're winning over anyone else. You're just winning in your life. Because it's not about being better than anyone else. Nobody's better than anyone else. It's about what you do with what God's blessed you with, which is not going to be much if you're being a victim. And the victor mentality is abundance, it's development, it's expansion, it's success, it's growth, it's all of these kinds of things. And so if we apply this just simply to the three circles philosophy, which are the three primary priorities that are central to practically everybody's life if you live in a developed nation. The first is health, right? You got to take care of your health first. The victim mentality is, well, this is just the way I am. It's, I just, I'm born with these genes. I can't do anything about that. That's the victim mentality. And then you just go down that drain, that path, because you're reactive. Since I can't do anything about it, then what's the point in worrying about it? I'm just going to do whatever and then hope I can medicate it and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not going to work out very well. Apparently, if you look around, the victor mentality is, just because I have a genetic predisposition for something, that's not a sentence. I mean, personally, I'm genetically predisposed to a lot of not great stuff. But at 62, I'm in great health with no meds. Why? Because I live on the proactive side of things. Right? Exercise, proper eating, taking the right supplements to complement your diet, getting rest, hydrating, staying active in general, feeding your mind, all of those things, right? Those are proactive things that allow you to affect how your health is, as opposed to the reaction victim mentality of, well, that's just my genes. That's a bunch of crap. So then you can take it into relationships. Victim mentality. They won't change. That's the way they are. They always do this, they always do that, they never do this. They're focused on what they're not. Victor mentality, invest in yourself. Be an example. Look at how you can help this person in some areas of their life and ultimately have that spill over. Think about how you can serve better. Think about how you can support and complement. That's a proactive perspective, improving yourself, right? And as opposed to trying to improve them, right? Be a better partner. I mean, it's not that difficult, right? But it is about focus. It's about breaking the habit of focusing in the wrong area. I'm not saying allowing yourself to be tread on by someone. That's entirely different. The victor stands up and says, that's not acceptable. The victim goes, there's nothing I can do to change how they treat me. You see, that's an entirely different perspective. Empowering versus disempowering. And then you can think about it from the third circle, which is the money career circle, right? The victim's mentality is, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm not this, I don't have enough opportunity, my boss makes it like this, or nobody's supporting me, or it's their fault, or right? I mean, it's just one thing after another. A fear of failure, not being willing to take risks on themselves, right? That's all victim mentality. Victor mentality is, I have raw material, I have gifts, I have strengths. I am no worse than anyone else. I'm not better than anyone else, but I'm no worse than anyone else. But I am unique. I'm uniquely me. I have my own set of unique skills and talents and abilities and affinities and personality characteristics and the things that I'm enthusiastic about and strengths to use. Why don't I become better? Why don't I work harder? Why don't I take more risks? Why don't I fail forward? That is the proactive perspective, and it leads to an entirely different life. So to kind of sum this up, your habits of focus are breakable and changeable and not difficult to do. It's a lot easier to decide to turn off the news than it is to put down a cigarette. That's just the reality, because it's not a physiological thing. It's just a choice. So you know what? I'm not going to watch that garbage. I'm going to instead read something that helps me be better. That's just a choice. And the cool thing is, the more you proactively choose, which I mean, the whole Three Circles book is about proactivity. Everything I teach is about proactivity, because one thing is clear. People who live proactively, it doesn't mean they don't have reactive things in their life, and it doesn't mean they don't have moments of reaction that aren't fun. It means that they are better equipped for the things that actually do cause them to have to react, and their life is much more joyful. Their attitude is much more better. They have a growth mindset. Much more better. That's good, huh? Yeah, whew, great English right there. But I'm not going to react to that because it just came out. So there it is. Proactive mindset is a purposeful thing. The book will help you do that. So will lots of the free content that I offer on my Facebook fan page or my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn's, I'm just part of LinkedIn. I don't have a LinkedIn thing. I'm just a LinkedIn person, but I provide content on LinkedIn that support my blog site at Tburrier.com. There are tons and tons of free resources in there. If you just go search a topic relative to personal development or professional development, you can find all kinds of stuff in there to help you. And then my primary baby is I help people to be a much better, healthier, successful version of themselves, if that's what they want to try to do. I'm working with a phenomenal project and program right now that can help people do that. So you can reach out to me on any of those or for none of those. It's fine. It's up to you, right? But I'm just here providing something of value. But take the proactive piece seriously and start to shift your habits away from thinking reactively and into thinking proactively. And it will absolutely begin to change your life for the better and always possible in a short period of time. I hope this was helpful for you. I'll see you next time.